how's it going? For today's video, we have a special guest, Stella. How can you resist that nose? Okay, she's cute, eh? Okay, so for this video, we got the worst of the worst. My top 10 worst aquarium experiences. If you are new to this channel and you probably don't know, I do aquarium services, meaning I do maintenance, cleaning, installation, I do repairs, I do a lot of emergencies. I'm actually the go-to person to call in case of emergencies. So if you're in Montreal, Canada, Quebec, and the region, like I do Laval, Montreal, South Shore, if you have an aquarium emergency, I'm the guy, girl to call. I do a lot of emergencies. So I get the cream of the crop in terms of weird stuff happening in my company. Like weird things have happened. Now I have done this for, now it's gonna be 7-8 years maybe. So I have seen some really weird stuff. And I actually brought a list of my top 10 worst aquarium experiences. They're in no particular order. They're just all as shit. Like all of them were like top 10 quality. Some were obviously more challenging to fix. Some were more disgusting. I mean, it depends how strong your stomach is. If you're sensitive, I don't suggest sticking around because some of these things are absolutely disgusting. I practically puked at the job. Actually, no, wait, I have 11. We'll start with the one that literally I wanted to puke. And I actually have a photo, so I'll insert it right here. The photo of the disaster. She's so cute. Oh my God. The nose. Okay. So this happened to a really good client of mine. And this will be rated. Please watch always your aquarium heaters, because this could happen to you at any given time. It's none of their fault, it's not my fault, it's just a defective heater that kind of decided to just heat non-stop. So the story starts as follows. 7 a.m. I check my phone, I wake up, and what do I see 7 a.m.? A message from my client saying, my fish are all dying, the water is so hot, I cannot touch the tank, please come as soon as you can. So I get there around 8 or 9, something like really close to my wake up time. And I get there and basically all the fish inside the fish tank got boiled to death except one red parrotfish survived, and we put it in a 10-gallon separately. But the water was so hot in the fish tank, I couldn't even put my hand in. I had those long gloves up to here, those yellow gloves that we use for aquariums, up to here, my shoulder, because I couldn't even touch the water. And not only was it so hot, even after we unplugged the heater, for hours on end, it was like hot until it arrived. Even after we unplugged the heater, it was super hot and still steaming, I tell you, like, and it smelled. Oh God, it smelled so bad. It smelled like the worst rotten fish soup of your life, to the point that I was about to vomit in the aquarium while doing it. And they gave me like a mask for painters, but it actually looked like a World War mask, like from Toxic Invasions or something. I was wearing this giant mask, and it's in the picture I just inserted, just to be able to do the water change, you know, remove the dead fish. And the dead fish were not just dead, they were like falling apart like in a fish soup, like, but eyeballs, fins, flesh, skin, anyhow. So yeah, that parrotfish survived. We removed the heater, we got an aquarium thermometer, we got a new heater. That fish is still alive, and he has a girlfriend, and now it's making babies every month. So that aquarium was happily saved, happily ever after. But I never actually saw a heater malfunction to this extent. I've seen some that just wouldn't turn on or the light would be burned, but this thing boiled, like no thermometer in it, like it just something out of this world. I'm still traumatized. So the next one, okay, the next one is called cocaine. Would you like some cocaine? Okay, so I hope no one recognizes themselves in this video. I want to die or something, but I had to tell you all my worst ones. So the cocaine story. For a whole month, a client of mine was always messaging me and saying my fish are acting weird. And I gave her the troubleshooting stuff. Is your water temperature okay? Is your filter functioning? Do they have ick? Are they eating? She said, yeah, all of the above, but they're acting weird. So anyways, comes the monthly maintenance. I go there and she's not home. There's a roommate there instead. It's a new roommate I haven't met before. And anyways, I look in the tank and yeah, they do swim funny. Kind of hectic, erratic, but funny. Then I started the maintenance, I started doing and remove the lid. And what did I find floating on top of the aquarium? I'm not a drug expert, but it was white powder in a tiny baggie like this. And it was wet. So it was this person in the tank for God knows how long. I guess the whole month. There was a baggie of cocaine or illicit white powder in the aquarium. And we're talking about a 26-gallon aquarium. Precisely. Not for sure I'm gonna die. And anyways, I told the roommate, this is not mine. This was in the aquarium. Dispose of it the best you can. And comes the end of the maintenance, now that things are back to normal, I said, so these are fish flakes, and this is how much you feed them a month, just in case you overfeed them. This is the quantity you feed the fish. And she looks at me, all puzzled, she's like, can you roll that? Roll that into the joint? I'm like, I wasn't sure what to answer. I'm like, should I say yeah? Should I say no? Should I just run? I just made a run for it, and that was the end of my experience in that very particular place. I no longer service that person. I mean, I don't know. You know, anything could happen, and I don't want to take the blame. So yeah, good luck to her and the joints and the rest of the stuff. Third one is oh god, that's a crunchy one. The maggots. Okay, the maggot story. Actually, I've seen a lot of live maggots close or in aquariums. It's often caused by food rotting in the proximity of the aquarium, and with humidity, the protein in it just creates maggots. God knows how they get there, but the maggot story. So we had at some point a client. There used to be a monthly client. It's in an office. The tank was situated between like two office spaces, so it's an in-wall tank. And at some point, they just stopped calling. I'm like, okay, well, good news. Maybe they do it themselves. Maybe someone else went. Maybe I don't know. I assumed that someone was still doing that aquarium, even though they weren't calling me for about a year. But a year later, in the summer break, when I was on vacation, they called me and said, hey, could you send someone? I'm like, sure, yeah. And I asked, when's the last time someone cleaned it? And said, well, you were the last one to clean it. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm not in town, but I could probably ask my employee to go there. So I told her, expect the worst. You know, it's been a year, so I imagine actual like crap in the tank, the filter to be dirty, you know. Those maybe 10 cichlids in 180 gallons. So with an FX6, it should have been whatever. I hope for the worst, and I told her to hope for the worst, but we did not expect that. Basically, she goes there, and then I get a call, and I don't know if she was about to cry or about to just leave. And okay, I don't know. But she was not in a very good mood with me, and I didn't know why until she sent me pictures and videos, and I nearly fainted. Okay, so basically, their food machine was throwing food on the side of the tank, on the wall. And since it's an in-wall system, there's humidity there. And when she arrived there, they say, oh, we have some flies. There's a fly issue in the office. We think it comes from the aquarium. People, they had maggots crawling on the rim of the tank and along the side of that wall. Live decomposition maggots, like the ones you see on corpses, little white little things like that. And she's like, why did you send me here? This is like disgusting. But I was unaware. They just said flies. I'm like, maybe it's just, I don't know, it's just so dirty, the water. It wasn't the water that was dirty. It was freaking maggots, flies everywhere. So we told them to call the exterminator. Well, she finished the job of the aquarium itself, but for what the maggots on the walls, I mean, we don't even know how to fix that. I mean, I don't know, pressure wash that thing, remove the wall, open the wall, do something. But they weren't very happy when we said we're not exterminators, and that was the last time I seen them. And I do not regret, because I'm happy I wasn't there actually, because this is disgusting. Like, I feel for her. To this day, I regret taking a chance to send her to such a place, because I'm sorry, Jennifer. I still apologize and I still feel bad about this. Okay? Sorry. Any houses? Okay, let's move on. Number 4, the forgotten tank. Lady, if you recognize yourself, it's just for the sole purpose of the video. In all goodwill, it's no one's fault, but a little bit. Anyhow, so someone called me to because there was a bad smell coming from the basement, and she assumed that it was the ex-husband's aquarium that smelled up. And you know, newbies, I cannot blame someone that never took care of a tank. You know, it was up to him to take care of the tank until he left the place. But he just left without the aquarium, without telling her what to do. So how was she to know anything about it? So she calls me there, and yep, she was right. The smell was, how can I describe the smell of decomposed, rotting fish in a heated aquarium? It smelled like a strain of cheese, of French cheese, but not the good type of French cheese, like a bad French cheese. And it looked like cheese. The water was whitish and cheesy, and God bless, there's still like one fish and one Synodontis catfish alive in there. To this day, they're still alive, and this is 6 years later. So it took me hours. Well, first of all, I removed the 2 living beings into a bucket with an air stone, and then I proceeded to removing corpses and pieces of corpses, and just nuking the whole entire thing and just starting over. And we decided to bring the aquarium upstairs, so we're aware that there's an aquarium in the house from now on, and she actually still enjoys her tank. Those 2 initial fish 6 years ago are still ruling the tank. It's doing amazingly, and we just rescaped it and it looks really nice. So it's actually a success story, but the forgotten tank was something. I mean, I don't have pictures of that, because usually when I get to places and it's that bad, you know, like it's like someone taking a picture of someone that's falling off a cliff. Get off your damn phone and just do it. Well, that's kind of how I feel. I'm not gonna start taking pictures of a disaster while it's happening in front of me. I'm like, get these fish out. This is not a photo shoot scene. So I don't really have pictures of my disasters. It's just take my story for what it is. It was bad, but it's very good now. So let's move on. Oh. Yeah, that's a sad one. You'll get sad with this one. So I had a client that really loved monster fish, but the tank was only 55 gallon maybe. And in there he had a pike. No, not a pike. He had a peacock bass and 3 Oscars. And usually I'd say like do weekly water change of 50% or something, but I could only see him like maybe every 2 weeks or every month. So the Oscars developed hole in the head disease, which is caused sometimes by hexamida. He would feed live bait like goldfish and guppies and minnows, and they also carry parasites and hexamida, and triple that with bad water quality and overstocking and underfiltration, they develop crazy craters all over their heads, and they're just like living zombies. And many times I said, like, there are solutions for that. We can treat them, we can like take them out of there, we can treat them elsewhere, we can stop the live bait, which I would never like bring live bait to him. I always said, please just feed pellets or frozen seafood, or there's alternatives, you know, to live bait. But no one wanted to hear that. And one day I came and the Oscars were gone. And I'm like, what happened? Did they die? He's like, no, I got tired of them. They're in the front lawn. It's been 3 days, they're in the front lawn. They flopped for a half hour and then they died. So they were in the neighbor's front lawn, dead. Yep. I still feel bad. I feel like I should have tried harder to convince to do something, but you can't really like kidnap the fish. Or can you? The next one, I kidnapped a fish to save his life. Okay, let's see if that's, yeah, that's the one. Okay, so this is a story of a 20-gallon with a giant pleco in it. Like a regular pleco, like this, in a 20-gallon. He was there for years, and every time I said, please remove him, like, please, like, he's poisoning the tank because he's too big, and I only see you once a month or less, you know, and he deserves a bigger house, you know. So I tried for many months to years to convince the person to remove the pleco out of there, but it was like a family pet and the tank wasn't to be upgraded. What can I do? So I haven't heard from the client for several months. I'm like, maybe someone else does the tank now. And after a while, they called me and they're like, please come. We haven't seen some fish in a while and the water seems cloudy. Cloudy. I'm gonna pause because I'm regrouping my emotions not to start swearing or something. I literally vomited in my throat at every minute I was trying to save the aquarium. Why is that? The fish weren't missing. It was like someone put in their goldfish to triple up the problem, and it was pieces of goldfish floating all over the aquarium. Tiny freaking 20-gallon with pieces of goldfish everywhere. The whole intake of the filter was jammed with pieces of dead goldfish. The pleco was still alive. I don't know even how. Sorry, that's my dog. Tisha. But there was a living dead monster in there. There was also an African dwarf frog. And if you know anything about amphibians, or at least frogs, they can regenerate limbs. But half of the frog at that point was dead and half of it was alive. So I had to euthanize it because the whole side, the whole arm, everything was dangling dead completely. It was so disgusting. I said, I'm never coming again if we don't fix the situation, you know? The smell, the visuals, I mean, thank God actually I didn't take pictures because you guys here would be gagging like looking at this. So that day I euthanized and flushed whatever was remaining of that poor frog, and I left with the pleco. I'm like, I'm not even giving you a choice. I will take this pleco and bring it to a company that has a 150-gallon aquarium properly suited for this pleco. And I did that, and we put antlers and little guppies in that tank, and ever since it's running fine. And the pleco unfortunately has passed, but only 2 years after the original case in the company's tank. He was pretty stunted and deformed, and yeah, sad. But he still lived 2 more years in paradise, so I guess in a way it's a good thing. But he's gone through so much abuse, I'm pretty sure his system was like shutting down, and yeah, rip. The next one, oh yeah, the next one. Okay, so their parents went on holiday and they said, do whatever you want with the aquarium, get rid of what is inside, get yourself some nice fish. So we're talking about 3 teenagers that called me to remove a fish in their fish tank that wasn't cleaned in 3 years. 3 years! The water was black. Like the whole tank was black. I don't know what there was inside. So they said, oh, there's probably a koi fish inside. I'm like, but do you know for sure what is inside? They said, we think it's a koi fish. Like, okay, so it shouldn't be too dangerous for me to start on the cleaning. So it's 100 gallon, maybe something like that. Pitch black in there. Like the water is black or green. The light is not functional. The filters are like you know, they were so jammed of crap. And I was expecting koi fish, and you know, koi fish are gentle giants usually. Nope, it wasn't a koi fish, and I've discovered that pretty soon, because as terrified as I was to put my hands in there, whatever was in there was also terrified of my hands and took a chunk. Do I still have? I think it's this hand. Well, it bit me right on the freaking vein here. I had like a cut, like where the artery is, and I still didn't know what had jumped at me until I practically emptied that tank, and they asked me to remove it, obviously. So until we got the cooler out and we scooped it out with the giant net, it was a ghost knife, this big. It wouldn't even fit in my camera lens, but it was about 13 or 14 inches solid ghost knife. And those are predatory fish with some teeth, so it took a nice chunk out of my artery. Like I'm so lucky it didn't go further. It was just like a flesh wound, but it took a good chunk out of me. And I brought it to a pet store, and that guy got adopted like a day later. So he found a nice home a day later, but it was very traumatic for me to just stick my hand in, we don't know what, and I couldn't see what. And anyways, that was that. That was fun. Anyhowsies. The next one is called baby guppies all over the place. Yep, you heard it right. What wrong could happen? I had just hired a new employee, and he was pretty new in that domain, and I feel like I could be at blame for not saying exactly word by word what to do. Because we went to move a 10-gallon and a 5-gallon aquarium from a home to their new location. And I said, listen, you're in charge of it. The 5-gallon that they have in the bathroom with baby guppies in there. Just put all the equipment in a bucket and transfer all the guppies in this transport bag. And just watch me do it. I'll be doing the 10-gallon, the room next door. So I started doing my stuff. I actually explained pretty well. Put the equipment in here, empty the water, and put the fish in the bag next to you. Well, when I came back 5 minutes later to check, he was washing the tank in the sink, no, in the bathtub. And yes, he had put the baby guppies in a bag, but the bag had tilted and completely leaked on the floor of the bathroom. And there was baby guppies all over the floor of the bathroom. And then in panic, I screamed. I'm like, oh my God, there's fish everywhere. And in panic, he turned around and started stumbling and stepping all over the freaking fish on the bathroom floor. It was a carnage. And not only that, but thank God I looked in the drawers of the bathroom, because water leaks in the drawer, and there was water and baby guppies all over in the drawers of the bathroom. Anyways, we saved a good few hundreds, but there was some collateral damage that was stepped on, and we managed to save most in time before suffocation, but there was collateral damage from trampling some over. I feel bad about it. I feel really bad about it. I should have been present this whole entire time, and I wasn't. So don't hire me. I suck. I suck at moving baby guppies. Just hire me for the bigger stuff, okay? All right. Next one. Oh, yeah. Do you like big plecos? I got another one for you. So this tank, we was They were honest. They called me, it's a disaster, it stinks, please come. We haven't cleaned or done anything to the aquarium in 6 months. So I go there, and I already seen on the picture it's pretty brown, the water, but what came next was, so for the past 6 months, the filter was off because their hang-on filter was leaning backwards. They hadn't like properly positioned it upright, and since it was leaning like that, it was pouring out on the side of the wall. So instead of putting it upwards, normal, at the regular level of a hang-on filter, they just unplugged the damn filters. Just let's leave it like that. The fish will be fine. And inside there was a pleco this big, over a foot long, maybe 15 inches, and equally the same a iridescent shark that was this big. But apparently they had a fight, and by the time I arrived, only the pleco survived, and the shark was left in there for like 3 days. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, when they said that story to me over the phone, that the shark had died and the filter was not on for the longest time ever, I said, when can I come the soonest? They're like, we've been busy, maybe next week, maybe the week after. I'm like, lady, you're gonna lose the last fish. Like, it's like a minute by minute thing. So I'm like, no, Monday, I will be there, Monday. So that was like maybe on a Friday she told me. No, it was Saturday she told me. I'm like, Monday, I will be there. So I came there, like, that day it was so busy. Like, I had like 8 fish tanks to do, and like it was a long day, but she was like my last one of the day, and I went there. Oh my god, the fish tank stunk. Like, you know the sewers of Jakarta or something? I've never been there, but I heard it's pretty bad. It smelled like pure feces, but like rotten feces. It was so bad. I had to put my long gloves up to here and there, and I had to clean every piece of equipment in the bathtub, like scrub it. I managed to remove the iridescent shark and put it in a garbage bag. Then the garbage bag tore, and I had to bring it down the stairs, and there was like the iridescent shark falling out of it. It was a nightmare, but the pleco was still inside, and I managed to get it out and put it in a bucket. And he was so big, he was like in a circle in my bucket because it would have fit like lengthwise. I didn't actually expect the pleco to be so big, like this. And it took 3 hours on a 55 gallon to just clean and get rid of this, not the smell. I couldn't get rid of the smell because then we would have to get rid of all the substrate and everything. But 3 hours of like filling, emptying, like everything was like nuked clean. And I took that pleco with me. I babysitted him for months, brought him back to good health, and then he's in a commercial tank right now. It's like a 350 gallon in the mall. If you want to go see him, he's at Saint Laval. He's the big beast inside. So Saint Laval is in Laval if you want to go see it. So yeah, that was saved, and I haven't heard from them again. I think they don't have the tank anymore. In a way, God bless, because, you know, sometimes it's not for some people to have fish tanks. Like the whole idea of unplugging for 6 months a filter. Who am I to judge anyways? I'm just here to save the tank. Okay, so... Oh, last one of the batch. This one's a crunchy one. I got sick as a dog. Or as a turtle, should I say. Okay. I received a phone call. Please come, our turtle filter is not working adequately. I'm like, okay, let's go see. So I arrive, and there's a 6-inch turtle, 6 feet, in a 20 gallon with this much water with a canister flue bowl filter. In this much water, and the water is moldy. It's like white moldy crap. There was mold and algae on the turtle. It was so bad, and it stunk. I'm like, you calling me here for the filter or what? So, okay, whatever. I cleaned up the filter and everything. I cleaned up the tank, but it still was so bad. And as I was in the tub cleaning the mold and scrubbing the turtle clean, some water splashed into my mouth and my nose and my ears and my eyeballs. It just splashed. I don't remember exactly how it did. I think it's either I was cleaning the turtle or I was testing if the filter was working. Yes, I think it's just as I was testing the motor and I was upright and it just I got all over my face. And then I was like, listen, we can't leave a turtle in these environments, you know. Stella, come here, come here, come here, baby. So I'm like, we need a tub, we need like a bigger bucket, we need a baby pond, or like something much bigger, much bigger. And they're like, well, we have 3 bathtubs in the house, maybe you can just put it in a bathtub. So it's been a year now that a turtle lives in a bathtub. We converted it into like a fish tank or a tub. We have like all the little things, the rocks, like we really converted it into a tub for turtles. And the filter still works on it. The filter was not even defective, it just couldn't pump mold water. How else could I say that? Mold water. But yeah, so I saved this one for last in case you vomit. So since that dirty mold salmonella water got into me, I got salmonella poisoning for a week, and I was just, it was coming out both ends for like a whole week. And ever since, I'm immune to salmonella, because I did have a few more turtle filters that exploded and got into me, and I've survived and I never got sick again. So now I can probably lick a turtle and still be fine. Not that I want to do that, but I mean, if I had to for a challenge, or if that was to happen again, I'd probably be immune to salmonella. See, it's a thing, I can eat raw chicken now. That would be cool. So, what do you guys think? Mwah, nose! Oh, we got a nose. So cute. See, I'm immune to her salmonella. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments about my crazy aquarium saving stories. I probably got more, but I just don't remember right now. And top 11 is enough for today. I'll probably think of another top 11 another time. And yeah, like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you're not part of the subscription people yet, and hit the bell button just so you get my latest notification, because YouTube tends to forget about your subscriptions if you don't like generally watch them every day or every week. Like, let's say I don't upload for a couple of weeks, you're probably gonna lose me in the whole feed. So hit the bell button, you're gonna get an email when I upload stuff. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Woo! Okay, see you another day. Bye.